The Art of Communicating by Thich Nhat Hanh. Understanding our own suffering helps us understand others. I know a woman from Washington, D.C. who at one time planned to commit suicide because she couldn't see any way out of the suffering she was feeling. She had no hope. She had a very difficult relationship with her husband and also with her 3 children. She had a friend who wanted her to listen to one of my talks on deep listening and loving speech. She refused because she was Catholic and she thought that listening to a Buddhist teaching meant she wasn't being true to her faith. On the night she planned to kill herself, she telephoned her friend to say goodbye. Her friend said, "Before you kill yourself, come say goodbye to me. Take a taxi." She came, and when she got there, her friend asked her, as a favor, to listen to the tape before she killed herself. Reluctantly, she said, "All right, before dying, I'll satisfy your wish." After listening to the tape, she was curious and decided to go to a mindfulness retreat. At the retreat, she began to really listen to her own suffering. Before that, she had thought the only way to end her suffering was to kill herself. It was too painful to listen, but she learned how to stay with her breath so she could be with her suffering. She found that she had created a lot of wrong perceptions and had nurtured a lot of anger. She had thought that her husband and her family had created all her suffering. But now, she saw that she has co-responsible for her suffering. She had thought that her husband didn't suffer, that he just made her suffer. But now her understanding was quite different, and she was able to see the suffering in her husband. This was quite an achievement. When you see the suffering inside yourself, you see the suffering in the other person, and you can see your part, your responsibility in creating the suffering in yourself and in the other person. The night when she came back from the retreat, she came and sat close to her husband. This was something very new, coming and sitting near him. She sat for a long time. Then she began to talk. She said, "I know you have suffered so much during the past many years. I couldn't help you. I made the situation worse. It wasn't my intention to make you suffer. It was just because I didn't understand you. I didn't see the suffering inside you. Tell me about your difficulties. Please help me understand." She was able to use this kind of loving speech. Her husband began to cry like a baby because for so many years she hadn't talked to him in a loving way. Their relationship had been very beautiful in the beginning, but it had to come filled with resentment and arguments and lacked any real communication. That night began their journey to reconciliation. 2 weeks later, the couple came with their children to tell me this story. The Art of Communicating by Thich Nhat Hanh.